If you hear someone knocking on my door, it's probably Science and Sports who has sent goons trying to kill me. For everyone else listening, I'm going to show you how I stopped paying on my ass for gels and how you can do the same thing. I didn't get a 90% discount on actual gels. What I did find was a recipe that can replicate what gels are. And I also found a great way to carry this homemade gel on the bike. This recipe is from one David Blodgett, something similar to that. I have made some modifications to David's recipe that made it a lot cheaper, but honestly we have to get to the math first because I'm trying to wow you. So section 1, math. The weights are going to be in grams and the prices are going to be in euros, but if you're doing price to weight calculations, it shouldn't be too different for your country. If you buy a 20 pack of 2-to-1 Torx gels, so 2 maltodextrin, 1 fructose of Torx gels, the cost comes out to 1.7 euros per 45 grams of carbs. Except it's not 45 grams of carbs like the description on Amazon says, it's actually 30. The 2 part of the 2-to-1 is maltodextrin, which is a flavorless glucose substitute. It cost me 3.5 euros for a kilo, and it's that white powder right there. That's 3.5 euros for a kilo. Personally, I got it from a local chemical supply store. I should be able to find it from chemical supply stores, brewers. It's used for beer brewing, so that's where you'll find maltodextrin. The 1 part is fructose. Fructose is sold at my local supermarket, and it cost 2.5 euros for 500 grams. If you sum those 2 up and you add also some lemon flavoring for about €1, then the whole thing is going to come up to 7 euros for 1500 grams of carbs. So to get 1.5 kilos of 2-to-1 carb gels from these store-bought gel packets, you have to buy 1500. You divide that by 30 grams of carbs per gel, so that's 50 gels in total. So 50 gels times 1.7 euros per gel equals a total of 85 euros, give or take, for all these gels. 7 euros for the homemade stuff. That is a 92% discount. I'm going to be a bit generous here, say you don't have all the implements to make David's recipe. What I needed was a metal bowl that cost me 10 euros. I needed a gram scale that was 20 euros. Reusable baby food pouches, which is what I carry this stuff in, which is 10 euros for 3 of them, and they are washable and everything. And that total is 47 euros. Which is still about a 50% discount over just store-bought gels. So even with the startup costs, the discount is so steep that the only reason why you should ever buy store-bought gels after watching this video is if you're physically unable of making the recipe. Honestly, otherwise you're just pissing money in the wind. And it's a lot of money, because you're supposed to have 3 of those gels every hour. Okay, so section 2, carrying. Section 2, baby food pouches. They are washable, reusable, and 10 euros for a pack of 3 of them. With the size that they can hold about 2.5 hours worth of carbs. This is, the maximum kind of recommended 90 grams per hour figure. Fits perfectly in the pocket of a cycling jersey, like it's the same size. The only drawback is that you have to unscrew this thing before taking a swig, but you can do it. I've taken to doing it with my teeth, and then, it's doable. It's not ideal for a race, but for most of us amateurs that don't really race longer than like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, this is fine. You can always just down a Red Bull 5 minutes before the start of the crit. Of course, these reusable food pouches are going to save you so much plastic that you're going to do a lot better environmentally. Now, I will guide you to David's video for the full recipe, but here's some of my modifications and comments. First of all, agave syrup in my country costs a ton of money. It's 90% fructose and 10% water in an ideal scenario, so that's the substitution I made from the original recipe. I just substituted that 90% into just fructose from the supermarket, and I add another 10% of that in water. Second, good kitchen thermometers are pretty expensive, so just go low and slow until the whole thing turns translucent and you're pretty much fine. Also, fair warning, this gel stuff is incredibly sticky. If you manage to slosh it around too much and get it on yourself, you will burn yourself. For storage, I get like a big 600-gram jar of jam. I empty that out, I wash it, and that's what I put my gel in. A 3x recipe from David will pretty much fill one of the jars plus half of one of these. I make a 3x recipe because it's good for about 8 to 10 hours of riding. This stuff lasts pretty much forever. It's just carbs. I keep it in the fridge just to be sure because you never know with these flavoring agents whether something might go off earlier than the rest of the gel. But in practice, I really doubt this stuff is ever gonna go off. I wouldn't take this out on a ride out of the fridge and then take it out on another ride. I would take exactly as much as I need for a ride and finish it because I don't want to go through multiple warming cycles like it does on the back of a jersey. I'm hoping that these energy gel manufacturers kind of, do something about the whole environmental effect thing because Jesus Christ, it is a lot of plastic that has to be used for these energy gels.